There's a helicopter. It's happening. Resident Evil is happening now. We're doing the B storyline, everybody. It's gonna crack. No, let's not go there. Hey everyone, Lucy here, and recently I beat my first ever Resident Evil game. I don't know if you guys watched it, but I did do a full Let's Play of it, and I thought after the Let's Play ended, it might be good to, rather than just end it there, do a little sort of like post Let's Play discussion, the after Let's Play sort of thing. You know, like how The Walking Dead has the Talking Dead thing. I've never watched it, by the way, because I don't watch The Walking Dead. It's far too gory for me. If I couldn't play this, there's no way I can watch The Walking Dead. But I imagine this is how I'm imagining this would be, some sort of like post-analysis discussion with just me. Can you have a discussion with one person? Or does that turn into sort of a Shakespearean sort of monologue? I don't know. I'm just going to talk for a bit. I don't really have a plan for this, so I'm just going to sort of like say my thoughts about stuff. It's not going to be a review per se. I'm just gonna talk. So yeah, let's start with the beginning. So as I said at first, I've never played a Resident Evil game ever. Even in my gaming wrap up, I didn't I had a section of the what am I looking forward to playing next year. Didn't have Resident Evil. I don't think I had it in it because I don't think it even registered in my mind as the thing that I would even want to play. I don't even think I knew it was coming out. That's how much it didn't really resonate with me, which is why I think it's quite interesting, because I really did enjoy the game in the end. It took a little while to get there, but I think it's quite interesting to go from having zero interest in it at the end of 2018 to it being a game that I'm really going to remember enjoying playing this year. A surprise game that just sort of cropped out of nowhere for me. So yeah, the reason I'd never played a Resident Evil game is because I knew it was a scary game. I know I don't want to play scary games, and I don't really think I knew exactly what it's about. I knew there were zombies. Sometimes I thought there'd be a lot of gore and stuff, and I'm really not good with gore, and I think I thought it was just a zombie shooter with just a lot of, like, you know, just grotesque stuff happening. So I was like, doesn't sound like it's for me. But then a friend of mine sort of like said, actually, Lucy, I think you might enjoy it because it's kind of, it's not that. It's more of a sort of story and environmental storytelling sort of thing and finding your way around and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. So that's why I gave the demo a shot, which is when I said that I'd never played a Resident Evil game. Outrage in the comments. So I would just like to say that I think I looked it up here. When did so Resident Evil, the original game, came out 22nd of March 1996, according to Google. What was I doing? March 1996. Well, I was 5 years old, so I was probably at school. I literally just didn't know it existed for a long time. I think the first time I'd heard of it was 6. I remember everyone sort of going, oh, 6 was really bad. And then 7 I knew was first person. I was like, I'm not playing that. I watched a lot of people sort of talking about how that was pretty scary. So that's why it just never really came into my my world. So yeah. But my friend did convince me, so I played the one-shot demo, and I thought, okay, this is alright. Still wasn't 100% convinced to buy it. I was going to wait for it to come on a sale, but then I was talking to someone at work, and they were like, hey, you can borrow my copy, I'm not going to play it yet. So I was like, okay. So I borrowed their copy, which is also why I completed it so quickly. Normally, it would take me a while to do it. Well, part of the reason I completed it quickly was because I borrowed it from someone else, so I wanted to make sure I gave it back to them in a timely manner, as one does when you borrow something. And I did get very addicted to it towards the end, towards when I was on platinum pace, because at first I didn't think I'd get the platinum, because I don't know if you saw the Let's Play, I was awful at the game. Like, when I was editing it, I was like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. Like, I'm just terrible. And to see how far I came from that to finally actually getting the platinum and feeling like I did a pretty decent job at doing it, I was like, wow, I learned. So that's pretty cool. I feel this is quite a cool journey. I mean, it's not exactly climbing Everest, but, you know, it's a small feat for me. So let's start with my thoughts on the game. So overall, as I said, I got quite addicted. I did really like it, but I'm not going to lie. At the very beginning, when I was doing that first Leon playthrough, I really didn't like it because I just was so confused. I spent so much time just feeling like really frustrated, not really knowing what to do. Partly my fault because I didn't read the instructions of things properly. I'm terrible. I hate a tutorial, mate. It's just so like, ugh. I hate reading. I hate menus. I have this weird thing about games where I'm just like, when I get a new game, I'm like, I'm not going to learn the menu. Gosh, there's too much stuff. I'll just pick it up. And then eventually I do sort of like realise that I need to pay attention to what's in the menu. But it's too overbearing at first. I'm like the person that, you know, you get the instructions when you're trying to build a cabinet or something. Think about it, I've ever built a cabinet like twice in my life, if that. And you're like, I don't need that, I'll just stick the screws in, it'll be fine. It's never fine. You should read the instructions. Although no, I don't want to read the instructions. I want to be a rebel. an instruction rebel. So at first, I was kind of finding it really frustrating. I was stuck in the police station for ages trying to find something. I was trying to find the electronic gadget, but I didn't know I was trying to find that. So that took a good hour of just sort of going, I don't know. And because I was so lost, I was using a lot of ammo. I was using all my equipable items. And it's all just like wasted because I shouldn't have really been running around that much. So that was annoying. The sewers, I was totally lost in the sewers. I was trying to like work out the map. The map just totally, I don't know if it's just me. I'm just maybe bad at reading maps or something. But I was just like, I just stared at the map for like 5 minutes at some point, being like, literally have no idea how this bit connects to this bit and where the frick I have to go. I was like doing a loop of everything. Like, that was another good hour. Oh my god, and the chess piece puzzle. This game made me feel like a right dunce at some points because I was just like, I just don't understand. Like the one with the king and the queen, I just kept going round going, hang on a minute, now I'm lost here. And I was like, oh my god, you don't know how much I had to cut out of just me going round and round and just getting more and more angry that I just couldn't work it out. It's quite simple now, but I was just hopelessly lost. So don't go orienteering with me. I was quite hoping I would be good at orienteering, but I suppose not. Don't go orienteering with me when there's a zombie apocalypse. Maybe that was why it was the stress, the pressures. So apart from the endless getting lost and frustrated, which kind of dampened my first playthrough, by the end of it, I did quite enjoy it. The jump scares were like, that was the thing. The Mr. X thing did proper terrify me. I really didn't like that. But then that was probably as scary as it got. I mean, most of the time you sort of got used to it. Like, because I know a lot of people are saying that they were too afraid to play it, and I 100% was. But once I got over that initial fear, that was kind of as scary as it was going to get. You knew things were going to pop out at you and stuff, and you could, like him, if you were playing with headphones on, that was one of the scary bits actually, was when you had headphones on and you could hear him walking outside a room that he couldn't get in. He was like, dum, 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 dum. And you're like, where's he gone? Okay, I can make a break for it now. That I enjoyed that, especially on like the hardcore playthroughs and stuff. Part of that fun with that was just trying to sort of like work out where you're going to go and like how to avoid. He walked super fast. I was like, I'm not going to be afraid of you now. And he walks like fast on hardcore. That was quite scary. Saw him a lot more sort of chasing me then. So yeah, did Leon A. Was kind of like, and I think it took me a whole month to actually get around to doing Claire B, because I was kind of like, I need to take a break. Also, the Let's Play stuff was like, oh my god, it's the first time I'd done one with a camera and stuff, so that was interesting. It was the world's most dangerous Let's Play. There were wires for days. It was like a trip hazard. Claire's B playthrough, enjoyed that much more. I think because by that point I understood how the game played. A lot of it is similar, but different enough, so it felt like a new experience, but I knew what I was doing sort of thing. So I really enjoyed that, and I really liked Claire as a character. Leon, he was okay. He was a bit meh. I don't know how to describe him. I mean, he was a nice young man. But that was all that was really to him. Whereas Claire was a bit more of a, like, she kicked ass. She was just like, oh, I'm going to do the things. Like, maybe it would have been different if I had played as Claire first and Leon second, but that's not really how it wants you to play. But she just seemed a bit more like, go get him, and she was just not fazed by anything. Not that Leon was either, but he was just more like, I've got to do my job. She was just a plucky young college student. I don't know how she got wrapped up. Well, it's because she was looking for her brother, who I kept saying their names wrong a lot, I realised. I don't know why I was calling them Redford when it was Redfield. So overall, I enjoyed playing the game, but I'm not sure if the story really resonated with me. I'm still not 100% sure what happened or why anything happened. I definitely have no idea what the grand scale of things are like. Anything outside of what actually happened at a beat-to-beat basis with the characters, that went over my head. I don't really know what this G-virus is. Just turns people and things into gross stuff. They needed to get out. And there were those two people that were clearly bonkers, the dad and the mum. So yeah, and also I didn't quite understand how the things happened in parallel with each other. Like, you had Leon doing the same things that Claire was doing, but I think that's like a common sort of confusion of how those sort of linked with each other, yet didn't. I don't know, that was kind of weird. So I enjoyed playing the game a lot. I got very addicted to the whole strategy, like trying to work out, like on my next playthroughs when I was trying to get all the other trophies, it was like trying to work out the best path to get these items, taking the quickest route without having to use as much ammo. I just really got addicted to that kind of gameplay loop of just trying to do things really efficiently. So that I enjoyed. Story, I don't know. So let's look at the old trophies, and I'll give you a sort of like a rundown of my road to the platinum. So right off the bat, I want to say that I did think that this was a very solid trophy list. Like, I was just having a quick scroll through what the trophies were, and I actually think this is a really good list of just enough, like when you've completed your first playthrough, there's enough miscellaneous stuff that you sort of get along the way, enough kind of challenging ones without being too like, you know, some like the ones where you have to beat some of the bosses in like a certain time limit. I managed to get those on the playthroughs that I did them, but you know, those are nice ones to go back to and sort of like try and do a nice sort of a nice roundabout of collectibles, not too much. Most of it you would sort of get along the way, you know, you're getting your fair standard, and then you've got your difficulty related ones, but I feel like those ones are a nice challenge. It's good, and yeah, there's those sort of other random sort of challenging ones. I remember when I read this list before I got the game, I remember thinking, God, some of these, like the carbon footprint one, I remember thinking, oh my God, that sounds awful. And they're not using health and stuff. But actually, those were a good fun challenge. And I actually really enjoyed that playthrough quite a lot when I got those. So I would say this trophy list, this is a good one for a nice variety of stuff going on with a dash of challenge. I like a good dash of challenge. So it took me, what does it say, a month and 2 weeks to get the platinum. So sorry to my friend, it took me a month and 2 weeks to hand your game back. 6 weeks. Is that a long time? So as you can see here, I did quite a lot of those miscellaneous ones. So I beat the game within a couple of weeks. So that was the first playthrough that I did. So that was the Leon story, beat that. Then a whole month later, so that's what it took a bit of time to get back into. A whole month later, I did Claire's story, beat that in like 2 days. And then after that, what I did was I looked at how many trophies I'd left. Still hadn't committed to the platinum yet. I was still like, okay, let's just see how many of these other sort of wrap-up trophies I can get. So I had a save that I kept, which was the head to the lab save. I had one for Leon and I had one for Claire, because they sort of say when you get into the carriage, like, oh, this might be a one-way trip. So I was like, okay, I better make a save. So I went back to one of those saves, and then I went and got all the other ones, like, what's this one here? Like getting the treasure hunter, doing the master of unlocking, that sort of stuff. So I did as much as I could on that. And then I looked into the other ones. I was like, you know what? Let's see if I could do Leon's run better. Now that I know where the things are, I want to challenge myself to see if I can suddenly, like, have I improved sort of thing after I'd learned the hard way before. So that's when I did Leon's story again. Yes, that's how I got the... and I was like, I'm going to pick up a couple of those trophies on the way of doing that one. So I think I did Leon B, as I was saying. And then I went and did Claire A, whilst getting the vermin extermination trophy. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and get all the ones. Now, this was after the Dark Souls fiasco. So I was like, you know what, I wasn't going to do this, but I was like, I learnt my lesson last time. So look at this, the whole trophy. Look at that. I need to, this is falling apart slightly. I'm going to have to sellotape that up. So it's been a while since we've seen this old friend of ours. So I was like, I'm going to write down the raccoons, and I thought, you know what, I'll draw the little raccoons. I had to look up how to draw a raccoon because I had this idea and I didn't want it to look like a fox. So I drew little raccoons, and then I had so that's also sort of dictated how I was going to play the game again. So I did Claire's A, getting as many of the hang on a minute, I must have done I did Leon. I did Leon B, getting the raccoons, and then I did Claire A, getting the raccoons, and by happenstance I managed to get the S rank on that time. I wasn't trying for it, but that was on standard, by the way. So I was like, oh, I can do this. I think that was when I was like, oh, I think I can do it. So instead of doing Leon's S1, so that's it. When you get the raccoons, this is turning into a right mess of words. When you get all the raccoons, you then get the never-ending knife, the unlimited knife. So that's pretty cool. So you definitely want that. Okay, so I would say before trying to do hardcore or the other ones, get the knife, because then I looked up and people were just slicing things, which makes things so much easier. So after that, I went and did the files. Did I do that? I must have done that in that Claire run as well. I must have played... Oh, yes, that was it. Okay, right. I'm getting this. So what I did after Claire's A run was I did an assisted Claire run to get Minimalist, Small Carbon Footprint, and Fungalist at the same time. Now, this probably was one of my favourite playthroughs, because this one you had to use a lot of strategy and thinking and sort of planning, which I really enjoyed. So the hardest bit... using the health, not that difficult to not do that. The Carbon Footprint, not difficult really either. I think I was sort of checking along the way, because you can look in the menu to have a look. But I kind of was like, you only need to take what you need to take. So if you already know what you're looking for, I don't think that was the thing actually, I didn't actually go and get the rocket launcher. Also, that was the other thing, why were Claire's guns like the worst guns in the world? I think I moaned about this enough, but I hated her guns. Yeah, so I didn't actually get the her grenade launcher, but they give you one in the lab. So there's a tip for you, don't go and get it, they just give you a freebie in the lab. So yeah, that wasn't too difficult. It was actually the not using the box that was the hardest bit, because you had to keep with you like all these keys, and because I was trying to get the footprints as well, I couldn't go and open those doors, so I could never discard the keys. So that was a real sort of like having to really decide, what do I really need for this next fight? And of course you're unassisted, so it's not like... Actually, yeah, that was the other thing that helped as well on my sister run, because when you beat Claire's story on standard and get an S, you also get the unlimited gun. So I used that a lot. Yeah, so that really helped, because that meant that... Oh, No, I must have had her other gun as well, but having that sort of helped. So yeah, the not using the box thing was the hardest bit, because you had all this arbitrary stuff with you that you couldn't discard, but you needed them for important story points. So I would say this is very doable. So then, once I'd done that, this is happening now. Like, I was really pleased with that playthrough. So then I did that Grim Reaper hunk mission thing. I really didn't like that. I mean, I tried it a couple of times and I was like, I'm just not having fun. And it was really, I think the worst part about it was you kind of had to, it was very trial and error. And every time I got to a new bit, you would die. And it was like, oh, for God's sake, so I have to go through the whole thing again and again. Eventually, I just decided to look up how someone else did it, because I was just like, I'm just not enjoying it and stuff. And I think the person I saw who was doing it was Trance. I think that's how. And I actually quite enjoyed his videos. He was very good. He's quite good at the old speed running. So I watched a couple of his. So that's why I'm not going to do the DLC, because the DLC is all like that hunk run. And I was like, it just didn't interest me. So after I did that, I went back and did Leon's S run. Oh yeah, and then I did... That's it, I forgot. So yeah, I did Leon's S run on standard. Then I did Leon's run on hardcore. Now this is for hardcore. I think the main thing I did was, again, I'd learned a lot of stuff now from this point in time. So I had my reusable gun, I had my reusable knife. So I'd use my reusable gun for like general use. So just walking around, popping a zombie in the head just to like stun them and get past them. And then I would collect some ammo and use that for like the big fights, so I wouldn't waste it. So I had all that stuff with me, and sort of planning ahead, knowing sort of what you're going to be taking on and stuff was quite a big thing. And using the box was key in this, because you were like always swapping stuff out and making sure. That's the other thing as well. You have less hip pocket flasks, hip waist pouches, hip pouch. Why could I not remember the word hip pouch? I love a good hip pouch. So you had less of them, so you really had to utilise the box well. So I just really liked thinking and planning and feeling like I was like, really being intelligent, when it probably wasn't. It's just putting some things in a box and deciding what you're going to take with you. So then I did Leon's Leon's hardcore run, and then the final one I did was Claire's one, because I liked Claire's story better, as I said, so I thought I would save hers till last. And yeah, that was it. Then I got the sweet old plat. So, oh my God, it felt good. That was a good challenge, that was. And hardcore was a nice balance. I didn't think it was too hard. It was like just the right... That's the thing. Actually, it's all coming back to me now, because I actually did beat this like 2 weeks ago, and I was meant to record this last week, but I just felt lazy and decided to play Persona 5 instead. But today's a good day to record it. It's not too sunny. The sun was driving me nuts in that Let's Play, by the way. Flipping sun. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, hardcore. So you have the ink ribbons. Now the ink ribbons, it sounds scary that you can only save a certain amount of times, but actually they give you an abundance of ink ribbons, to be quite fair. I think one of the ones I finished the game with about 6 ink ribbons to spare. So as long as you're saving smart, like if you're going to like plan a route, so I would save, and then I would say, okay, before I save next time, I want to do this, 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 and this. So I would go and do that, and I'd be like, woo, get a save. And normally they would give you an ink ribbon instead of where a hip pouch was, or instead of where a bit of health would have been and stuff. So you can kind of predict where they're going to show up, and they're kind of generous as well. They kind of know that you'll need to save at this point. So when you see one, it's kind of telling you should probably save now. So that wasn't really an issue. It was more that everything was a lot harder to kill, and it just took a lot more taking down, and obviously you took damage so much quicker. So, and I finally learned how to mix all the herbs, which was like a freaking lifesaver. So thank God for that. Yeah, that probably annoys some people in the comments. So that was it, really. I think that's everything I have to say. Hang on a minute, I've just made a shocking discovery. Okay, so That was Plat 89. I haven't actually documented it in the... Oh, I've really got to sellotape this up. I haven't actually documented it in the old... So look, let's do it now. Let's get the old second screen experience up. And we can write it down together. Okay. Now, the rules of the trophy logbook is that the platinum must always be drawn in a blue pen, alright? Have I actually... I must... No. It's not that the platinum has to be drawn in a blue pen. It has to be coloured in with a blue pen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've stuck to that for the majority of this. That's the only rule I have when writing this out. Why do I write it out? Because I started doing it and it would be a shame to not. Here we go. Plats. Oh, now I'm going to have to... Oh, I already... Right. This is going to be hard to draw it and write it at the same time. And also, you colour it in after you've written it. That's just the way it is. Alright. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, give it a little colour in. Boom. Done. It's officially been platinumed now. That is all that I have to say about Resident Evil 2 Remake. Should you play it? Yes. Should you plat it? Go for it, I say. I mean, you should definitely give it a go. You don't I was terrible, like I said at the beginning when I first played it. I was absolutely awful. Just didn't know anything, but I really got into it, and I do think it's very doable. It's a very doable plat if you want to put the time in and you want to sort of like get better in it. So I'd say if you're up for a challenge, this is the challenge for you. So definitely give it a go. I feel like you might surprise yourself, and if you enjoy what I said earlier, the gameplay loop, then it might be something you would enjoy. So until next time, happy hunting, and I shall see you all in the next video.